Overcoming insecurities. There was a young girl who loved school, specifically art class. She liked to paint. One day, she showed her artwork to a teacher who casually remarked, "Not bad, but you'll never be as good as the real artists." From that day on, she hid her paintings in a drawer. She was convinced that she wasn't talented enough. But it wasn't a lack of talent, it was insecurity that really developed in her, and that silenced her creativity. There's another example of a professional man who was in his 30s. He landed a job. In fact, it was his dream job, but he constantly felt like an imposter. So even after promotions and every compliment he got, he just felt more and more uneasy. As he was advancing in his career, he feared that others would find him out. And his insecurity had nothing to do with his actual ability or his qualifications. It was about him not believing that he was enough. He had imposter syndrome. Now, how many times have you seen someone delete a photo before posting because they didn't like the way it looked, or hesitated to speak up in a meeting because they were worried? Well, what if I sound stupid? That is examples of insecurity creeping in. Maybe you've had that friend or that person that you dated. They take pictures, like, come on, let's take a picture. You take the picture, and they're like, no, not that one. Let's do another one. You take another one, like, oh, I hate my blank. And then they say, let's do another one. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, forget it. Forget it. What did we come over here to take pictures for? If you're not going to like and choose any of the pictures that we're sitting here posing for, they're insecurities. These individuals give into the feeling that they have inside that they are not enough, that they're not good enough, that they don't look pretty enough, that they don't measure up. Let's define this. Insecurity is uncertainty or anxiety about yourself. It's a lack of confidence or worth in your abilities. That's insecurity. Uncertainty or anxiety about yourself, a lack of confidence in your abilities. Insecurity, friends, is all about mindset. It's because our mindset is off. And so that's why we believe that we are not good enough, that we don't measure up, and we become insecure in our actions. It can come from your negative childhood experiences. If you got criticism at home, if your parents were constantly comparing you to someone else, or other kids in the neighborhood compared you to someone else, that's what creates insecurity. Could be social comparisons in adulthood. You got social media, which I wouldn't advise. Some people like to use Instagram, and then they sit there and they compare themselves and their life to everybody else's. But that doesn't make sense, because what you're comparing yourself to is essentially an advertisement. You're looking at what people are advertising, what they've put together for their photos. And some of these people are professional influencers. So this is all they do, is make their life look good. It's not real. And so you think, oh yeah, their life is real and my life is terrible. You're comparing yourself to the highlights. Don't compare yourself to the highlights of someone else's life. Sometimes it's traumatic events or failures that planted a seed of doubt in our head. We saw how bad it could get. Our insecurities lead us to silence our potential, to hide our artwork in a drawer, to destroy relationships, to avoid opportunities, to miss opportunities. Your insecurity is poison to you. It is not anything to wear with a badge of honor. It's not anything to laugh and say, yeah, I guess I'm just insecure. No, it's pretty serious. It's a pretty serious problem. It's holding you back. But you're not alone. You're not the only one who lacks confidence. Please understand, this is a mindset issue. You don't have to be this way. You're not doomed to be insecure for the rest of your life. You have to be able to overcome insecurities by first identifying and then overturning by reframing the way that you're thinking. As a self-reflection exercise, I'd like to ask you to ask yourself, where do I hold back because of fear? Where do I hold back? Is it fear of rejection in relationships, fear of failure in career, fear of judgment in social situations? I've known people who are very insecure, and as a result, it hinders their life. So they don't want to go to the party because they feel insecure about how they're going to act. They don't want to go to the concert because they've never been to a concert before and they don't know how to act at the concert. They just feel insecure with everything, so they don't move forward with anything because they're worried about everything. They're insecure about everything. They don't want to take pictures. They don't want to be in a video. They don't want to be on camera. They never know what to wear. They say, I don't have any clothes while they stare at a closet full of clothes and dresser drawers overflowing. For yourself, take your pen and just write down the top three things that you feel insecure about. Don't be afraid. Naming the things weakens the power. What happens to us is when you keep those things that you're insecure about in the subconscious and you don't name what it is that you're actually going through, you allow those things to continue to have power because what you give emotion to, you give power to. And so, as these insecurities come up and you become emotional about the things that you don't feel confident about, that gives more power to the insecurities. Now, what did you write on your page? You got your top three things written down. You don't have to share them, but take a look at the top three things that you feel insecure about. You'll notice that a lot of insecurity or self-consciousness is actually other people consciousness. Self-consciousness is other people consciousness, meaning that you are worried about what the other people are thinking, what the other people are viewing you as, how the other people are looking at you. And then you call it self-consciousness, but it's not really you. It's that you're in their heads and you're thinking about what they're probably thinking, imagining that you have the ability to know what they're thinking, and really you don't. So you're telling yourself, oh, they're judging me, they're looking at me, they don't like me. Like the young lady in the beginning, she's telling herself that other people think she's not talented just because that art teacher was insensitive in their remarks. So let's shift our mindset and let's get out of trying to be conscious of what other people are thinking and what other people believe and would say. And let's get refocused into our own frame of thinking, which is what's beneficial for me, what's beneficial for my human. Let's frame it like that, my human. Let's imagine you as a soul has been given a human to care for. You, as a conscious being, were given a human to care for. That's really how this works, right? You were given a human to care for. So that's what you are. You're a human, or you're a person caring for a human. And so when you take the me out of it, you can take some of that self-consciousness out of it, some of that hatred for the self, and you say, this is my human that I'm caring for. Now, if you're caring for an animal, a puppy, right, you're giving it all the best. When you care for a baby, you give it all the best. So when you recognize that you are caring for a human, you have to give it all the best. You have to do everything that's beneficial for the human. Now look at your list and please recognize how this is holding you back from what is beneficial for you. It's all fear-based. It's all negative thinking based. It's your mindset. Even if you feel like you have really good reason to feel insecure about this thing, please recognize that it's your mindset that's keeping you stuck there. Your insecurities hold you back, but we thought the insecurity was going to protect us subconsciously. But now that you see it on your piece of paper, recognize it as a hindrance. It's preventing you from getting where you want to go. Your fear to speak, your fear to be seen, your fear of making an error, of failure, your fear of other people's judgments about you. It's all holding you back. So, what can we do here to change this? We got to shift the inner dialogue. We got to replace I'm not good enough with I'm learning and I'm growing. And then we got to affirm what it is that we switched our mindset to with repetition. So we got to take I'm afraid to speak and turn it into it's beneficial for me to speak sometimes. We got to take I'm afraid to be seen to I don't care what other people think of me. I'm not afraid to be seen. I'm here. Just as inconvenient as that may be for others, I exist. Let's take I'm afraid to make mistakes and let's turn it into failure is a part of the road to success. It's a part of the process by which I learn. Now look at your list and how can you reframe, switch, replace that inner dialogue? Go ahead and write that down. A new way to think, a new way to look at the examples on your list, at the situations on your list that are holding you back. We have to stop comparing ourselves to others, right? Everyone is on a different race. And so comparing only breeds inadequacy. We got to focus on our progress instead of trying to attain perfection. We can face our fears because this is a totally fear-driven, negative thinking-driven list that we have here. We can face our fears, but we can do it in small steps. So if you fear speaking, you start on one-on-one conversations and then you work your way up to larger and larger groups. You start with small steps. Every victory builds confidence. If you fear being seen, you start being seen by one person, and then two, then three, then going out in public. It's the small steps. That's how we progress. We don't need perfection. It's not all or nothing. It's every little bit counts. Whatever we can get, every little bit counts. That's a great reframe. Being seen is not dangerous. That's a good reframe. Each small victory builds confidence. Each small victory builds confidence. Confidence is created out of your collection of thoughts. So it's the way that you talk to yourself. The reason why you are not confident, the reason why you feel insecure is because you talk to yourself in a negative way. You say things to yourself like, oh no, I don't know who's going to be there. They're going to judge me. I'm going to look stupid. I don't look good in this bathing suit. I'm going to look fat. I don't meet the beauty standard. I hate my hair. Curly hair is out. Oh, I hate this. I hate that. I have pimples. I have zits. I have big ears. They're probably going to notice my big buck teeth. They probably don't like guys with glasses. They probably don't like beards. My stomach's too big. I have such a whiny voice. Right. That's the way you talk to yourself. That's the things you say in your brain before you go to an event. Now, when you get there, is that going to make you feel confident? Is that a good pep talk? Does that inspire confidence in you? That's how you're speaking to yourself in your mind. That's the way you talk to yourself. So, a very common question I get is, how can I build confidence? Talk to yourself differently. Talk to yourself in a way that inspires confidence. Right? I noticed this when you play sports, your teammates intrinsically, they just know they didn't go to psychology school. They just know, like when they see you down, when they see you make a mistake, they go, "Come on, that's all right, that's all right. Don't worry, right?" And they're patting you on the butt. And they're going, come on, it's okay. Get your head back in the game. Don't worry, we're going to the next one. Next one is we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. It's gonna be all right. Why are they doing that? Why do they do that? They didn't go to psychology school, but they know intrinsically that the way you're thinking, the way you're feeling, is going to affect the way you play. And they want to inspire confidence in you. So they say, we're going to win. We got this. We can do this. They want you to overcome your doubt, your fear, your insecurity, your inferiority. And so they inspire you with their words. Now, can they guarantee that it's absolutely true that you're going to win? No. Can they guarantee that it's absolutely true that you got this? No. Are they maybe lying a little bit? Perhaps. But is it good? Is it beneficial? Yeah, it's beneficial to tell people they're going to do well, they're going to be okay. It's beneficial to inspire confidence. So, how should we be talking to ourselves? My ears are beautiful. Look at all the famous people who have big ears and they still are making millions of dollars. I'm going to be great as well. I don't care if they like beards. I like my beard. Nobody looks perfect in a bathing suit. Even those people on online, they're using filters anyway. They're just going to have to love this the way this is. This is the real deal right here. If they can't handle it, then they can go on. I'm not afraid to be seen. I'm a human. They're a human. They don't like it. They can look somewhere else. They don't have to look at me. If they look at me, they must like what they see. Right? I'm not afraid to speak. I'll be a little nervous, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And if I mess up or make a mistake, I'm really no different than anyone else because even the most polished public speakers, even world leaders, stumble when they're on the platform. When they speak, they make mistakes, don't they? So I can too. You got this. I believe in you. I'm not I'm not fat. I'm just comfortable, you know. It's been a good year. I just I just could use to exercise more often, maybe, and I will, but this is just the way I look right now. That's fine. What is this? This way that I'm talking. Do you notice the self-talk is more positive? It inspires confidence. Confidence comes from the way you speak to yourself, what you focus your mind on. If you focus your mind on everything that you do not like about yourself, you will not feel confident. If you focus your mind on what you do like about yourself, you will feel more confident. So it's a game. Before you go into the event, you have to pep yourself up like a sporting event by thinking about everything that's good about you, everything that you've accomplished. I don't care if you got to lay your degrees out on the table. Oh yeah, I got my master's, got my doctorate over here, got my bachelor's, whatever you got, my high school diploma, my GED, my certificate, whatever you got. You lay out any accomplishments, you feed this into your brain. That's what creates confidence. Oh yeah, I got this award and that award. I don't care if you got it when you were 10. If it builds confidence, you put your mind on it. Oh yeah, and these people said nice things, and these people said nice things. I used to keep a bag. I mean, I still have it somewhere. All the nice notes that people would write to me, I would keep them in a bag. And so when I needed a little confidence boost, I could open up that bag, and there were note after note after note of a person saying how I helped them or inspired them or changed their life. That was many years ago. I did that before I started doing the trauma recovery work. It's helpful. What you focus your mind on is what determines how you feel about yourself. So if you want to feel confident, then you need to focus your mind on what you have done, what you have accomplished, what you feel good about, what you like about yourself, on compliments about yourself. This is very serious, by the way. This isn't fluff, what I'm telling you. Because if you engage in negative self talk, you are abusing your human. Imagine a parent talking to their child the way you talk to yourself. Imagine a parent saying to their child, "You're probably not going to be well liked at this gathering. Nobody's going to like you. Look at your ears. Your ears are so big. Are you going to wear a bathing suit? You don't look good in a bathing suit. You don't meet the beauty standard. Curly hair is out. Girls don't like guys with beards. Guys don't like girls with big feet. You're too short. You're too tall." Can you imagine a parent talking to their child like that? That would be abuse. It's abusive to talk to a child like that. So stop doing it to your inner child. Stop abusing your human. And all of a sudden, you will find that you become a less insecure person when you start building up the human the way you build up a child, by saying the same things you would say about a child. Growth comes from when we have things that we consider flaws, like big ears, right? Or our voice, things that you can't change. It comes from embracing those things. Growth comes from reframing the way you look at those things, finding a way to see them as an asset rather than a liability. Courage, which is linked to confidence, according to researcher Brene Brown, is closely correlated with vulnerability. Courage is correlated with vulnerability. So your ability to make yourself vulnerable is your strength. Your ability to take a risk, that's courage. It's scary. Most people don't want to do that, but that's why it's such a rare quality. Wow, someone who is courageous enough to make themselves vulnerable, to step out into the arena to compete. And will you fail? Inevitably, you will have your moments where it doesn't work out the way you want it to go, moments that could be potentially embarrassing. But please pay attention. You're in the arena, you're actually competing, as opposed to all of those persons who are outside just judging. Mm, look at them. They fell down and they got hurt. Okay, yeah, but what are you doing? Nothing. I just sit out here and I judge because I'm scared. Right. You're not accomplishing anything out there, judging from the outside. The people who are in the arena, those are the ones who are demonstrating their growth, their healed mindset, their intelligence, their genius, their talent. Those are the ones who are creating value for others and getting good life experience for themselves so that eventually they become seemingly invincible. And you say, how are they so confident? They're confident because they have accomplishments and they focus on their accomplishments. But how do they have accomplishments? They have accomplishments because they stepped out into the arena and they competed. They took risk. They made themselves vulnerable. That's how they got the accomplishments. That's how they learned. They failed. They made mistakes. That's how they learned. Anything you see anyone do in life, if they do it well, they were a failure at it previously. They had to make every mistake, so many mistakes, even in areas where you have a natural gift or an aptitude. When you really get into the big leagues, you are a student before you're a master, and you will fail at it over and over again. That's not your weakness, that's your strength. To make yourself vulnerable, to take that risk, to get in the arena, to get corrected, to have your coach say, no, that was wrong, to have your teacher correct you, and then to get up and do it again, and to get up and do it again. Whatever you see, people do well. They didn't start that way. So, do you admire them or their skills and abilities? Do you want to have skills and abilities like that? Then get started on failing. Go on, get started on messing it up, on making mistakes. That's how you get there. You got to be the student before you become the master. There's no way around it. It's a brutal process. It beats up your ego a little bit. But when you come out of it, no one can take away from you what you know when you come out of it. You become virtually unstoppable in that area, in that event. So please recognize that whatever it is that you're experiencing right now, whatever failure, whatever difficulty you're going through, this is just a matter of you perhaps being in the arena and taking some hits. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong. You might have done something right. This might be a sign that you are actually on the right course, that you are having difficulty, that you are facing these problems, these pitfalls, that you have made these mistakes, these errors have been called out, that you're having a hard time, actually may be a sign that you're on the right course because you're closer than ever after the failure to the success. The biggest irony of this whole thing. You're closer than ever to this. That's usually where people want to stop and they give up, is after the failure. But that's when you're actually close to the success. That's when you should actually push through and keep going. Many insecurities come from forgetting our true value, and they cause us to forget our true value. Remember, you were born with your worth, it's intrinsic. Nothing separates it from you, not the way you're treated, not the mistakes that you've made or the things you've done wrong. Your worth isn't defined by your achievements. It's not defined by your appearances. It's not defined by how much people are celebrating you. Your worth is just on you. You can't get rid of it. It's just there. It is the highest worth a human can have. Your job is to pursue purpose, create something of value out of what you've received of value. The girl in the beginning of the story could have become an artist if she believed in herself. The professional could have embraced his success by rejecting the lie that he's not enough. The everyday person can post a picture, speak up, step forward without fear, or while feeling the fear and doing it anyway. If they embrace the principle that they have the power to create their reality and they step up and they get to work. So, my encouragement to you is go on, get out there in the arena, stop with the negative self talk, encourage yourself, and build confidence so that you can overcome your insecurities.